Staying on Sports Central, we go over a March Madness game preview and prediction on the round of 64 matchup between the Texas Longhorns and the Virginia Tech Hokies. You got Texas is 21-11 heading into this matchup, one of the top teams in the Big 12, and they're facing off against the ACC tournament champion, the Virginia Tech Hokies. Who would have seen Virginia Tech come out of nowhere and win the ACC tournament? Huge for them, and they're one of the hottest teams in this tournament, that is for sure. Should make for a good matchup. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. Starting out with your team trends, Texas 21-11 heading into this matchup. They were 10-8 in Big 12 play, and overall one of the top teams in the Big 12. I mean, the Big 12 has got several very good basketball teams. I mean, Kansas and Baylor, both 1 seeds in this tournament. Texas Tech is a 3 seed. Then you got Texas just behind them, and I mean TCU is also in the tournament, Iowa State too. So there's a lot of good basketball teams from the Big 12 in this tournament, and Texas, I would say, is certainly one of them. So 10-8 in conference games against the top 25. They're 3-8. So this team has played several games against teams in the top 25, but the record isn't quite as good as they had hoped for. But for Virginia Tech, 23-12 is their overall record, 11-9 in conference, and they're 2-3 in games against the top 25. And Virginia Tech, I mean, this is a team that a couple of months ago, I mean, it would have been hard to imagine them getting into the tournament. But, I mean, this team has really, I would say, improved a lot over the course of the season. And, I mean, clearly in the ACC tournament, this team played outstanding. They won the tournament, which is incredible. So, and this team being 23-12, they most likely would not have made it in. I mean, there's a chance, but they most likely would have not made it in if they didn't have made a run in the ACC tournament. So, the Hokies definitely are one of the hottest teams, I'd say, in the tournament. So Texas has a tough draw here, being a 6 seed facing off against an 11 seed conference ACC champion in Virginia Tech. So that said, your game's going to be on Friday, March 18th, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Tip-off is 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Spread's going with Texas here by 1, so Longhorns are barely favored in this game. We've got a lot of close spreads. I mean, considering this is a 6-11 game, it's a very close spread, but your over-under is 123.5, so very low on the over-under, and your BPI is going Texas here 50.6%, which it totally makes sense why your over-under is 123.5. I mean, you got 2 teams that are pretty good defensively. I mean, especially Texas, that's their strength, is their defense. And so, I mean, if you think Texas is going to win this game, you probably want to take the under. Virginia Tech, if you're picking them to win, it could go easily either way. But series history, first matchup, and so we've never seen Texas and Virginia Tech play each other in basketball before this point. Here's your stat comparison as well for this game. Texas, 68.3 points a game, 59.6 allowed. So you can see that defense. I mean, 59.6 points allowed. That is a really good stat there, and your BPI ranking is 18. And looking at Virginia Tech in comparison, 70.7 points a game, 62.3 allowed, and your BPI is at 19. So these 2 teams are 1 spot within each other for the BPI. Moving on to some notable games as well. If you look at both these teams, I mean, Texas has played a lot of good basketball teams this season. They played Gonzaga, lost to them by 12. Played Kansas, beat them once, but lost them once. They're 0-2 against Baylor and Texas Tech as well. So, I mean, that goes back to that statement earlier. I mean, Texas has played a lot of really good teams this season, but they really haven't had too much success against a lot of those good teams. They did beat Tennessee by 1, which was an excellent win for sure, but otherwise, I mean, losing to Baylor twice, Texas Tech twice, I mean, it would really help Texas if they could have beaten Baylor or Texas Tech at least once. But, and of course, Gonzaga, the number 1 overall seed in this tournament, lost to them by 12. Virginia Tech, they beat Duke once, lost them once as well. And, of course, they beat Duke in the ACC Championship. That's where that win came from. You could definitely say the best win of the season for them. They beat North Carolina once, lost them twice. Lost to Memphis, a 9 seed in this tournament, by 8. Beat Miami once, lost them once, and they beat Notre Dame twice, who's an 11 seed in a playing game for this tournament. So Virginia Tech, they've definitely had some impressive performances. They haven't really played as tough of a schedule as Texas for sure, but, I mean, otherwise they've played pretty well over the course of the season. Some key points for this one, you got Texas, 21-11. Defense has been outstanding this season. It's going to heavily come down to this offense. If Texas's offense can come out of the gate and put up a lot of points, get some threes to go down, this team is definitely, I think, dangerous, and they should definitely win this game if their offense plays at a high level. I mean, their defense is really good. It's just a matter of if their offense can get some shots to fall, which they've been able to at times this season, but they've been a bit inconsistent there. They haven't played well against good teams either. So, I mean, for Texas here, being a 6th seed, there are definitely some question marks with this team, despite their defense definitely being the strong part of their team. But Virginia Tech, 23-12, one of the hottest teams in the tournament for sure. I mean, 11th seed. It's crazy to see Virginia Tech. I mean, this team is, I mean, they're looking really good heading into the tournament. I mean, they played very well in the ACC tournament. So, and they've improved drastically over the course of the season. And I mean, who knows? Virginia Tech could be the team that is an 11th seed that goes to the Sweet 16 or maybe even further. I mean, I could definitely see it happening, but obviously winning the ACC tournament is a big deal for them. And I mean, we haven't always seen conference tournament champions do well, especially out of the power conferences in March Madness. I mean, they sometimes do well, but not always. So, yeah, that's also something to remember. But that said, let's get to the prediction here for Texas and Virginia Tech coming up here in the round of 64. I'm going to pick an upset here. Virginia Tech with the win, 65-62 is my predicted final score. And this is a tough one. You got two very talented teams that have had good seasons for sure. But Virginia Tech, I'm more confident picking them right now. And I mean, until they show any sign of slowing down, I mean, they just beat Duke in the conference title game just last week. So, I mean, Virginia Tech is looking very good right now. And, I mean, they're kind of similar to Iowa in that way. If you look at Iowa, how they came out of nowhere, I mean, Iowa was a 5 seed, so they were a bit higher up versus Virginia Tech. But, I mean, Iowa winning the Big Ten, they're a very hot team right now as well. So I think Iowa and Virginia Tech are both really teams to watch out for to make potential runs. I mean, they're both playing really well at the right time. So Virginia Tech, I mean, this is a tough draw for Texas, and I'm going to go with the Hokies to get the win, 65-62. Probability 55% towards the Hokies, and you're over-under 123.5. I'm going to take the over for this game, but once again, any advice that I can give to you is if you're picking Texas to win this game, I mean, their defense should hold Virginia Tech under 60, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game was in the under if Texas were to win for sure. But if you're picking Virginia Tech, I definitely take the over for this one. And I'm taking Virginia Tech to cover as well, the 1-point spread, which is currently towards the Longhorns. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comments below on this game, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.